and welcome to day 3 of the 5-day meditation challenge with me, Ellie, the founder of Bigsister. If you're new here, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Whether you're a new meditator or experienced and just want to learn new techniques, welcome. You're in the right place. And today I am really excited to be talking about the subject of overwhelm, feeling overwhelmed in your life, in your relationships. For some of us during the pandemic, we had a couple years of things kind of being simpler, even though they were so hard. And now, as we're coming out of that pandemic time into a weird new world, there are a lot of inputs, there are a lot of obligations, there are a lot of parties even. There are just a lot of things that we're now like, "Oh, wait, I used to do this and now it's hard." And so today's gonna be about how can we find balance in the midst of all these different priorities, all the different people in our lives, all the different things we have to do for work, whether that's executing at your job, starting a business, working on a creative project, or looking for work, which is a position a lot of people are in right now, unfortunately. And hopefully, if you're watching this video sometime far in the future after this meditation challenge is over, hopefully that's no longer a thing. But there's always going to be just times when we are facing a lot of different priorities and we're trying to find a way through it. And in my world, in the Big Sister world, we want to find a way through it that is creating a life we desire, feeling good about it, and actually feeling at peace in the midst of all the things we have to do. Yes, that is possible. Okay, so let's take a deep breath. Let's just come into this space all together. And welcome to everyone who's joining me live. So glad you're here. Say hey in the chat, whether you're watching live or on the replay, and let me know that you're here and let me know your intention for today's session. So I'm just going to give us a sec to kind of get situated, get here. Have a sip of some water. I have all kinds of things in my water lately. I've had cinnamon sticks in my water for literally years at this point, ever since I quit smoking. Cinnamon sticks, let me tell you, delicious, full of antioxidants, and I made it up myself. I didn't get it from anyone else. So if you see someone putting cinnamon sticks in their water, I should get credit. I'm just kidding. I'm sure the idea exists elsewhere. And then also I found like real minerals. They're like little rocks from the Bulgarian Rhodope Mountains. We call them Rhodopite. Some of you know I'm here in Bulgaria visiting family for the next month for the holidays. And I found this in a health food store, and they say just put them in your water, and they restructure your water. So if you know of like Kangen filters or water ionizers, I guess these minerals do the same thing. I just bought them, so I don't know. I'm still learning, but super excited, and the water tastes good. So, and I think my vibe is good, at least right now. So, and I was telling some folks on my Instagram channel that day 1 of the challenge on at Big Sister Co on Instagram, I was telling my people that day 1 of the challenge, I didn't have Wi-Fi here, so I had to go across town to my dad's place, and I could have used today's meditation, let me tell you. So now, we're going to get into the meditation in just a minute, but I want you again to just take a moment and ask yourself what your intention is for being here. Why are you here? What do you hope to get out of being a part of this challenge? What kind of transformation do you want to see? You know, if you're watching this at the start of your day, what do you want today to be like? So often we're in survival mode. We're just trying to get through the day, just trying to get through the week, just trying to get to the weekend, instead of asking ourselves, what do I want? What do I desire? What would make me feel fulfilled? And how often are we, when you think about that, like, what do I want? What do I desire? It's like, no, 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 I can't have that. I have to like fulfill my responsibilities and obligations to other people, whether or not they feel aligned for you to be doing that. Let me know if you can relate to that. I know in my past life, I just was trying to survive, and I was overwhelmed all the time. And there was no way for me to really focus on, like when I worked a 9 to 5 job, when I worked in a cubicle, it was really hard for me to focus on like the extra things, like my well-being or like my hobbies or like my things that made me happy, it was just impossible to focus on them because all of my bandwidth was taken up by things I actually straight up didn't enjoy doing. With your one wild and precious life? I don't know. I don't know about that. So make sure you know what your intention is for being here. And if you can, write down, what do I want to create today? Why am I doing anything today? And I know you might be thinking, Ellie, like, I have to go to work because I have to make money. But like, why do you have to make money? Like, and I'm not asking that as if like you shouldn't or you don't need to make money, but like for what purpose? I ask my clients when I work one-on-one with people, we do some techniques where it's like, for what purpose? For what intention? We get really, really deep on your like unconscious motivation for doing things. And so this is a great way to just start asking yourself that question. Why do I do what I do? And you might find if your reasons are rooted in fear, that might also coincidentally be where your overwhelm is because you're doing things that are out of alignment for you and you're doing things out of fear because unconsciously you have a belief that it must be this way for your survival, for whatever. And as a reminder, we're going to be having our little party on Friday in 3 days. So if you're watching live with me this week and you want to get invited to that Zoom room, just write a comment in the comment section here or make sure you're signed up at the link in my bio or in the description section of this video. All right, let me make sure I don't have anything else to add here. Let me know in the comments too what is feeling overwhelming to you right now in your life. Is it your relationships? Is it work? Is it something else? I'll give you a second to do that. And then we will begin our meditation. Today's meditation is going to be both for your conscious mind and it's also going to be for your unconscious mind. We're going to help you uncover new resources and a new strategy for living. So I want you to just ask yourself, is it okay with your unconscious mind for you to find a new way to handle life so that you're less overwhelmed and for you to be consciously aware of it now? And if the answer is yes, keep listening. And if the answer is I don't know or I'm not sure, then you save this for another time or rewatch this and ask yourself again. So now I just want you to take a nice deep breath as we begin our meditation. Take a nice deep breath, and on your exhale, just like we did yesterday, just release any dense, tense, stressful energy. And let it fall into the earth through your feet to be transmuted into positive energy. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. We know that. So we want to transmute it into energy that can be used for a good purpose. So take a nice deep breath, and if it feels supportive to you, you can flutter your eyes closed. And just breathe with this question. What feels overwhelming right now? So often we don't want to think about what feels overwhelming. We want to avoid it. And yet those feelings of overwhelm will remain. we will continue to find ourselves in situations that are overwhelming. So, what feels overwhelming right now? What is the Pandora's box you want to keep shut? And just notice as you think about this, what feelings arise in the body. Maybe it's a feeling of tension in the chest and electricity. Maybe it's a feeling of almost heaviness or pressure around the shoulders and the back. And as you breathe here, I want you to square your shoulders. I want you to get into a confident stance. Breathing deeply, spine straight, shoulders back. Ears in line with the shoulders. This is if you go to certain Zen meditation centers, they will educate you on proper posture. Maybe other meditations too, but my experiences with Zen, they'll educate you on the proper posture for meditation. And it is a lot like a really confident, grounded, centered posture. Just breathing. And I want you to, as you breathe here, thinking about those things that feel kind of overwhelming or uncertain or there are loose ends. Can you imagine that picture in your head just getting smaller and smaller? Smaller and smaller, and then starting to fade farther and farther away from you. Fading so far away that it actually becomes a little dot on the horizon in your mind's eye. And then with a little spark, it disappears. It pops out into the horizon, into somewhere else. And just take a deep breath. Remembering that you are completely whole, completely worthy as you are right now. It's like an EFT tapping, right? I love and accept myself. Even though blank, I totally and completely love and accept myself. There's nothing more powerful than loving and accepting yourself for how you are right now, even overwhelmed, even struggling with people pleasing and boundaries, struggling with focusing on what other people need and not what you need. You know, maybe you're struggling with feeling like you have no idea what your needs even are. That's okay. You're in the right place. Take another deep breath in. And if there's any lingering dense energy, just let it fall into the earth through your feet. Invite in fresh air, fresh energy to flow in through the crown of your head. Now, I want you to imagine today that you are standing in a beautiful field full of flowers, these fragrant, beautiful roses. And around you, there are these little bumblebees, these little bees flying from flower to flower, doing their bee thing, getting the pollen, moving around. And you notice there's one little bee, and it's really stressed out. This one little bee is working harder than all the other bees, trying to pollinate every single flower in the field, trying to do the absolute best job it can, pollinating every single flower in that field. Going from flower to flower to flower. It doesn't matter if the flower is particularly fragrant. It doesn't matter to the bee. The bee just needs to pollinate all the flowers it believes it must, or else something bad will happen. Pleasing all the people, pollinating all the flowers. And then this little bee notices an older bee, a wiser bee, a really beautiful, healthy looking bee, following a different path. This bee is selective. This bee doesn't feel the need to do it all, doesn't feel the need to do the most. This bee values her energy. You notice this bee only chooses to pollinate the flowers she wants to spend her time with. The most beautiful, the most fragrant, for whatever reason, this older, wiser bee is choosing these different flowers, this specific path. And for this other bee, this little bee who's trying to pollinate all the flowers, it doesn't even notice when it's doing something it enjoys, really. It's just getting through the to-do list, just getting through, just trying to survive, just trying to make it through. I want you to take a deep breath here. And I want you to decide which bee you're going to be this week. Are you going to pause and think about, does it nourish me to spend my time with this person? Am I working on this project because I want to, or I feel like I should? And if you're used to being this very busy bee who does it all and just tries to survive, leaving little time and energy for herself, this might be a challenge for you. But now you see, in this moment, making this one choice, you get to transform. You get to become that older, wiser bee who makes selective choices for herself, for her own well-being, and is much more productive at what matters, and is much more present in the relationships she chooses to cultivate, in the areas of her life she chooses to water, to pollinate. So now I want you to, when I count down from 3 to 1, make your choice. And once you make this choice, I want you to understand you have been completely released from any choices you've ever made in the past. I don't care if you've been that little busy bee for 40 years. You've been released and forgiven for all those choices you made in the past, all the choices that have helped you get to this moment, to where you are today. Three, two, knowing that once you make this decision, so many opportunities, so many new choices will become available to you. Ready? 1. And just notice how you feel in your body with the power of making a decision. Deciding that stress is not the status quo, that feeling overwhelmed is a sign to slow down, not to keep pushing. That it is your birthright as a human being to cultivate your gifts, your strengths, your joys. When you're ready, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, releasing the image. And when you're ready, just flutter your eyes open and come back into the room. Welcome back. How was that? Transformative? I know. But let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear how this has helped you or changed the way you think about something. I recommend taking some time after this and just journaling on what came up for you and setting any new intentions you need to set for this week as you go out back into the world, maybe on different footing, maybe as a different version of you. And I'm excited to hear from you and to hear what happens next for you. I'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Reminder to make sure you're signed up for this challenge to get the Zoom link for our party on Friday, where I have some surprises for you. Remember, you are so loved. You are whole. You are worthy of love exactly as you are. And this is just the beginning. The best is yet to come. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.